All right, what's up, people? So this is going to be volume 3. And for this one might be a little bit short. And the reason why is because the guy I'm talking about is not really a historical figure. Although some people would say he is, I don't believe that he really is. And this is Padmasambhava. This is the guy that theoretically, according to tradition, introduced the Nyingma school to Tibet. Basically, he was the one that carried the water. I know I talked about Garab Dojre and like what he was actually a real guy. We don't really know if Padmasambhava was. He's basically, they call him the second Buddha. He's credited with, he's almost like a mythical figure. He's credited with introducing the Nyingma school, which is my school again, old school, the ancient teachings, the nine yanas, etc., etc. Although they were not that at the beginning. If we go back in time, we know that was not the way it was at the beginning. It was, and then there was bone, and we don't want to talk about bone. We'll get into bone. Trust me, it's not bone with an E on the end. It's a bone without the E on the end, B-O-N. But it is pronounced bone. Indigenous Tibetan culture, with all their ghosts and demons. I know, right? It's interesting. And so you had this guy, and he basically comes in and he introduces Dharma. Is it a real guy? I don't know, because see, the thing is, every tantra is according to him, and this is where it gets funny when it comes to the way in which, okay, so a tantra is basically, how should I say this? It's an inspired text, but it's a revealed text. It's one in which, like, these were, and they're called dharmas as well, which is basically like buried treasure. And the idea behind this is that in the ancient times, these primordial Buddhas, they basically sent down treasures. And they'll say it's 365,000, or they'll do their numbers, because they always do their numbers. Trust me, Buddhism always does their numbers. Look, I can see through it as well as you can, which is why, even though I am up there in that class, it's like at the same time, it's like, yeah, I can kind of see through some of what you're doing. I don't 100% agree with everything that you're fucking doing, especially when it comes to, a lot of the mythologies and a lot of the fucking, like, we're going to take these stories to be, well, they're not literally true. But Padmasambhava, yes, he was the guy. Basically, like, not even the Jesus. It would be like the Moses, maybe? Moses of their tradition. If that makes any fucking sense. Like, he's the guy that rediscovered, I guess, the original, like, meanings of the words of the Buddha within the sutras. So it's kind of like you have this internal, how should I put this, conflict. It's not really a conflict, though. It's kind of like an internal reconciliation within Nyingma of the ideas of, Gautama and, all the Buddhas that came before, and like going back through immemorial time, is that these things are always situated. They're always, like, situated within a person. There's always going to be at least one person, and this is going to get deep, and TC will love me for this, is that there's always 9. There's always 9 people that are entrusted with, which is basically the fucking Dharma. It's not just the Dharma, though. It's the keys to the world. And there are 9 of these people. They're called the 9 unknowns, but we don't need to get into all that. That's also a Buddhist teaching. And the idea behind this is that the Dharma will never be removed from this world. And as a matter of fact, it's always going to be promulgated by those who basically have this kernel, and they can basically give this kernel to someone else. And then perhaps even if they, I know they go goofy with this shit, become the rainbow body or whatever the fuck. I don't believe any of that's true, but it is what it is. You know what I mean? They dissolve their bodies into a rainbow essence of light. Okay, sure. And St. Genarius's blood turns into fucking liquid every fucking February 5th or whatever the fuck. I don't know. I just don't believe any of it. None of it is fucking true. But it's all true. Everything is true, nothing is permitted, or is it everything is permitted, nothing is true? See, that's what you have to ask yourself. Padmasambhava. Yeah, he's basically that guy that, you can account for as being a semi-historical figure, maybe. He never wrote anything, kind of like another guy that we know. Not on this list, but on other lists. And he inspired everyone else to write everything that they did, which became like super fucking awesome. So say what you want, but every tantra is accredited to him in the spiritual sense, meaning like if you don't, okay, a tantra is basically like, how should I put this? So a sutra is kind of like a low level teaching, and then a tantra is like a super high level teaching. And so the tantras are all dedicated to this guy. This guy is the guy that basically they credit him for everything. Everyone basically, it's called lineage. Lineage within Buddhism is different than it is within, like even Islam. Islam is one of the best when it comes to lineage, but Buddhism is far different because their lineage goes across space and time. So like they don't even, like there could be a teacher, put it this way, there could be a teacher from the far future that inspired someone in the far past, according to their knowledge of space and time. Their knowledge of, look, when you get into the really deep fucking teachings, you're going to be surprised at what they fucking say. You're going to be like, holy shit, this dude said, when I really get into the tantras, I'm going to be fucking surprised. You will be. If you try that, you have to try it. I mean, at least for nothing else, and just to fucking try it and see if I'm fucking lying. Which rule number 2, never lie. I never lie. That's rule number 2. Rule number 1 is trust no one. But the point being is that once you understand this, and once you understand that the space and time are irrelevant to the Dharma, you'll understand that past events can affect future events, and future events can affect past events, and it all works in this fucking synergy. That is Padmasambhava. That's who he is. So yeah, Tibetan Masters number 3. I can't recommend you any texts because they're either all his or none of them are his. But anywho.